Hey everyone, and welcome to What Did I Miss? Star Trek fans have been introduced to many heroic characters over the years and have long debated about who is the best captain or most influential figure of the franchise's long history. But one thing that most fans can agree on is that the greatest single villain that Star Trek has ever created is Khan. Played initially by the charismatic Ricardo Montalban on the original series episode Space Seed, the character would go on to appear only a few more times on screen, but his legacy and popularity amongst fans has endured far more than even his creators could have ever imagined. Khan is also a character that the current producers of Star Trek seem to be trying to reintroduce to fans by mentioning or showing the character in the series Picard and Strange New Worlds, the latter of which just changed some of the character's history, which could mean that audiences will get the chance to see a new version of him in the near future on screen. So I thought it would be fun to take a look at the history of the character from his creation to the eugenics wars on Earth, his appearances on the small and big screen, as well as his impact on various storylines within Star Trek. But first, I would like to thank the sponsor of this video. Well, Misfits, I finally have a big-time sponsor for one of my videos, and it is a game that I've been playing for a couple years now, and that is Raid Shadow Legends. If you do not know what Raid Shadow Legends is, it is a super detailed and tactical RPG game that has a killer battle system in more ways than one. It also contains a collection of over 700 unique champions, as well as incredible graphics that together create an intense PvE and PvP experience. And I have to say that after getting back into Raid after not playing it for a few months, the new real-time PvP content is now my favorite part of the game. Raid's been going for over 4 years now and has tons of gameplay options and ways to customize your experience. You can collect hundreds of powerful champions, each with their own unique skills and abilities. With 15 factions containing terrifying undead horrors, brutal orc warlords, regal elven warriors, mystical skinwalker shamans, and more, Raid's world is chock full of interesting characters and is still growing. Battle against players from all around the world in 3 exciting PvP modes, including the new real-time live arena that I just spoke about. One thing that I appreciate as a longtime player is that Raid's constantly evolving with new modes, features, and quality of life updates to make its world even better. You can play Raid anytime, anywhere, with a bustling worldwide community that now includes over 400 million players in 190 plus countries. There's also a bunch of brand new content in Raid Shadow Legends related to a new animated series, Call of the Arbiter, including a free legendary champion, the mighty orc warlord Artok. All you have to do to get him is log into Raid for 7 days between now and July 24th. With all of this exciting stuff and more coming to Raid, if you haven't started playing yet, then what are you waiting for? To help you out as a viewer of this channel, you can use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses, including the epic champion Drake from the Lizardman faction and other useful things like energy refills, skill tomes, and XP boosters. Once you're in and crushing your enemies, come find me under the character name Elam Garaka. And if you are good enough, maybe I will see you in the live arena, but you may not want to see me. So just hit my link in the description and I'll see you in Teleria. Khan Noonien Singh is a genetically engineered human being that was originally created in the 20th century by a group of scientists on Earth whose goal was to create the perfect human. Now, I just mentioned that certain aspects of the character's history has been changed recently, so to avoid confusion, I will first recite the original history of the character that began in the aforementioned TOS episode Space Seed, and when I discuss how and when Khan has appeared on screen, I will talk about whatever changes were made to the character then. Khan's birth was the product of something known as the eugenic philosophy that was based around the theory that improving the capabilities of one person would in turn improve the entire human race. These enhanced humans, or augments, as they came to be known, possessed physical strength and analytical capabilities considerably superior to ordinary humans. They were at least 5 times stronger than a normal human, and they could also hear better and hold their breath for a longer period of time than a human could. However, one aspect that was not considered by the creators of the Augments was their personalities. Along with their superior abilities, the Augments were aggressive and arrogant, flaws which the scientists were unable to correct at the time due to the infancy of the science. The Augments were created from a variety of Earth's ethnic groups, and Khan was thought to be from the northern region of India. But by the time he was in his 30s, he had conquered more than 1/4 of the Earth's population, which included most of Asia and the Middle East. For 4 years, a worldwide conflict known as the Eugenics Wars crippled the planet. These began because the people of these conquered nations, in most cases, were treated as little more than slaves by the Augments. Unlike the other Augment leaders, however, Khan's reign had enjoyed peace. The people he ruled over were not massacred, and Khan avoided war until his region was attacked. Khan also considered himself a benign dictator, or one who led by a form of gentle authoritarianism. Reports as to how exactly the eugenics wars began differ. Some claim that humanity rose up against Khan and his followers, while others believe that Augments began to fight among themselves. Regardless of their origin, two factors were certain. The eugenics wars had a devastating impact on the planet, as entire populations were bombed out of existence, and that humanity had ultimately deposed the Augments. The Augments were eventually defeated by humans, who were not genetically enhanced after Khan was the last of the tyrants to be overthrown. Khan and over 80 Augments were then condemned to die as war criminals. They somehow escaped their fate, a fact that the governments of the time did not disclose to the public in order to prevent panic. In fact, Khan and 84 of his followers had managed to flee the planet aboard an early sleeper ship known as the Botany Bay. This vessel, named after a penal colony that existed in Australia, was set on course into distant space so that Khan could find a new planet to rule. Because warp speed had not yet been created, the Augments were forced to enter suspended animation in order to survive the centuries-long sublight journey. Even though the whereabouts of Khan and his followers were not known for many years, his actions would have long-lasting effects on the people of Earth. This issue of genetic manipulation and human genome enhancement continued to plague Earth well into the 21st century. It is also believed that the eugenics wars were a prelude to World War III, a conflict that almost destroyed the planet but ultimately led to humanity's evolution into what would become a united Earth. Genetic engineering of humans was banned on Earth, as the concept was considered anti-humanistic by Earth's leaders. The ban was placed primarily as an attempt to prevent another event like the eugenics wars and to ensure that humanity did not endure the wrath of another Khan Noonien Singh type tyrant. The continued banning of genetic engineering ultimately became a point of contention within the Federation itself. At least two highly decorated Starfleet officers, Una Chin Riley serving aboard the USS Enterprise, as well as Dr. Julian Bashir serving on Deep Space Nine, were discovered to have been genetically altered after being members of Starfleet for many years. Both officers faced removal from Starfleet as well as imprisonment due to their alterations, but in both cases, Starfleet eventually decided to allow the officers to continue serving. Speaking of the Enterprise, it would be this same ship under the command of a different captain that would find the SS Botany Bay in the 23rd century. Once the boarding party from the Enterprise arrived on the ship, Khan's stasis pod was reactivated in an attempt to revive him. The mechanism, though, was not able to fully resuscitate Khan, and if not for the efforts of the Enterprise captain, James T. Kirk, as well as its chief medical officer, Dr. Leonard McCoy, Khan would not have survived his reanimation. The Botany Bay's undocumented departure, as well as the fragmented records of the time period from which it came, initially obscured the identity of the sleepers from the Enterprise crew. But after Khan was shown to have incredible recuperative powers while in sickbay, this led the captain to suspect his genetic manipulated biology. Eventually, Kirk and Spock identified their guest as being the deposed tyrant from Earth's past, and Khan was confined by Kirk to his quarters. Khan, however, soon began his takeover of the Enterprise and then escaped to the Botany Bay, where he was able to revive his followers. Khan then returned to the Enterprise and took control of the ship, planning to take it to a colony willing to be led or conquered by him. He was ultimately stopped by Kirk, who showed mercy on his would-be captor, and instead of sending him to a Federation prison, he allowed Khan and his followers to be exiled on a barren planet known as Ceti Alpha 5. Captain Kirk left Khan and his followers with supplies and cargo containers for shelter, and it was believed that they would be able to thrive on the planet eventually. However, due to a cataclysm in the Ceti Alpha system that occurred just years after their arrival, the planet's ecosystem was drastically changed and made it almost impossible to live on. This led to the death of many of Khan's followers, including his wife, and forced him and his people to try to survive on a near-lifeless planet. This also created a bitter hatred within Khan toward his former foe, Captain James T. Kirk, something that he would surprisingly get to act on almost 20 years after his arrival on the planet. Eventually, a Starfleet vessel known as the USS Reliant arrived at the planet while looking for a test site for the new Project Genesis. The ship and its crew were not aware of the history of the SS Botany Bay, along with Khan, since not only was the colony not recognized by the Federation due to Kirk's decision to exile him and prevent prosecution, but the event that occurred within the planet's solar system also caused the Reliant to misidentify the planet as Ceti Alpha 6 instead of Ceti Alpha 5. Khan is able to capture and subdue two members of the Reliant crew, one of which is now Commander Pavel Chekhov, who had served on the USS Enterprise when Khan was revived. Learning that his rival James Kirk was now an admiral and had flourished while he was in exile, Khan set out on a plan of revenge against the Enterprise and her crew. This eventually led to Khan's death, but not without the loss of one of the Enterprise crew's most beloved members. I'm obviously not going to go into a lot of events that took place in the film Wrath of Khan, because it is a classic movie, and I'm pretty sure that you have seen it before if you're still watching this video. And if you have not yet seen Wrath of Khan for some reason, I surely do not want to spoil any of its greatness. But I will give you two rather interesting facts about the movie that you may not know. For one, while the film is most well known for the battle between the protagonist Kirk and the villain Khan, the two characters never share the same space in a scene together, and are always talking to each other through the view screen or a communicator. Also, while Khan does recognize Chekhov when he arrives on Ceti Alpha 5, Chekhov was not a character on Star Trek when the episode Space Seed first aired, as he was not introduced on the show until the second season. Besides this original canon story, there is another version of Khan that was depicted in the film Star Trek Into Darkness and who was played by actor Benedict Cumberbatch. In the alternate reality created for the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films, the USS Enterprise of that reality came into conflict with Khan, who instead had been found and revived by Admiral Alexander Marcus years earlier. He was given a new identity, that of John Harrison, a Starfleet commander in the Shadow Organization Section 31. Khan, however, rebelled, and after believing his crew had been killed, he began a one-man campaign against Starfleet. His crew of Augments remained frozen, and Khan struggled to save them during his campaign. After gaining his revenge on Admiral Marcus, he was later stopped by the crew of the USS Enterprise and returned to cryogenic sleep with his crew. While not taking place in an alternate reality, it does seem like the timeline of Khan's history has been changed within canon recently, since there are inclusions of the character in both Picard and Strange New Worlds second seasons. In the series Picard, in the year 2024, the character Dr. Adam Soon picks up a folder titled Project Khan that is undoubtedly somehow connected to the character. Then in the year 2260, during events shown on the series Strange New Worlds, a descendant of Khan named La'an Noonien Singh saved the character's life as a child. It is explained by a disguised Romulan agent that because of an event known as the Temporal Wars, many historical events have been affected, and this caused them to occur later, meaning that the eugenics wars will now occur in the 21st century and not the 20th, which could mean that we will see this time period along with Khan on screen again in the near future. The creators of Star Trek are currently mulling around various different projects, and a new project with Khan is one that has been talked about for years. The original director of the film Wrath of Khan, Nicholas Meyer, has even written a new story based on the character, and he has been trying to get it made into a series. Having Khan appear as a child in the newest Star Trek project is a sign that we are not yet done with him and should expect to see more of his past and future. But let me know in the comments, what do you think of the legacy of Khan, and do you agree that he is the greatest single villain that Star Trek has ever created? Well, that is all I have, but let me know in the comments if I missed anything. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do not forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons to help support the work that I do, and I'll see you next time on What Did I Miss? Hey, don't forget to use my code and start playing Raid Shadow Legends today. It is a very fun game that I myself play, and by clicking on the link, you also help support my channel. So I hope to see you in Teleria today.